Hey guys, check it out, heavy hitters. Today I got a special guest. He's been my sponsor for some time. Um, his name is Jimmy. Say hi, Jimmy.
What's going on, people?
So he's got a really unique story. Now there's a point in time that I would have never thought that he would be my sponsor, because when he came in and he had a big old fucking flea infested beard, fucking bed bugs crawling out. I mean, this is how you would picture him.
But I get it.
This is how you envision him. You know what I
really
mean?
stinky.
Yeah, you were coming in straight out the streets of 14 years on the streets, guys.
I was soiled.
14 years of sleeping on concrete,
Yeah.
14 years of renting motel rooms, 14 years of fucking every
Chaos.
fucking janky thing that you could have to happen out
Yeah.
there. So I'm not going to tell his story. I would like him to tell his story. He always mesmerizes me. This is his first time on camera, so bear with him. You know what I mean? There's no really reason to bear with him because he's got a great story and he's got a great pitch.
Well, good for you, man.
So, all right, with that, I'm just going to let Jimmy take over. And I hope you get to enjoy some of what he's got to say, and maybe you can learn from some of his mistakes. So, Jimmy, with that, take over, bud.
What's going on, people? My name is Jimmy, and I classify myself as an alcoholic. I usually start my story off something like, this is what I'm saying is true, okay? I have 33 years off of cocaine. I have 19 years off of alcohol, but I have a 42-year methamphetamine problem. I like speed. I like speed. Actually, at the end of this week, on Friday, on 23rd of this month, in August, I will have 5 years, clean, sober, however you want to take a look at it. That's what I am today. And there's reasons why this thing happened, or else I'd still be out there right now. You know, my whole life, I've been really successful my whole life. I've always had everything. Even I was a functioning drug addict my whole life. And I didn't let anybody know what I did. But I used every single day since the age of 18. I smoked that pipe every 15 minutes around the clock. Something happened in my life where I lost everything. I used to own homes. I had 2 homes. I had 2 marriages. And now I have a dead son as a result of this. I have nothing to be proud of. I'm totally ashamed and embarrassed for what has happened in my life, and that's why I'm here today. Because if there's people out there that are struggling, then you want to listen to this. Because you don't want to turn in. You don't want to wear my shoes. You don't want this to happen to you. I'm 65 years old, and I'm Santa Claus. I haven't gotten a letter from many of you out there, so you should send me a letter. I know who you are. So anyway, I wind up becoming homeless. I lost everything that I had. You know, I knew it was going to happen. I had a home, and I had a problem with the government. And the government wind up taking things from me and put me on the street. As far as I'm concerned, they put me on the street. I remember crying walking down the hill as I had to leave, as the sheriff took me out of my own home. And I went on this journey for 14 years homeless. I couldn't figure it out. You know, I said, fuck you to the world is what I did. You know, and I wanted you to hear that vindictiveness coming out of me, because that's exactly what happened to me. I didn't care anymore. I didn't care for anybody. I was so angry for what has happened, and I was nothing more than a number. So anyway, it put me in a bad state. And not to blame anything, I want to blame me for what I did. I'm the actual cause of everything. So I wound up being homeless, legitimately homeless, on the street, not sleeping in anybody's houses, not couch jumping, on the pavement for 14 years out here in California.
You can name the streets.
Roscoe and Sepulveda. Roscoe and Sepulveda. You have to be careful when you deal drugs in Roscoe and Sepulveda, because you got gangs over there, you know, and they certainly have territories over there. So I decided to go on the other side of the street where I didn't have to pay, and they knew what I was doing. So anyway, I became homeless, and my world changed. My world changed. I worked it cost me $150 a day to be homeless. Okay? And people say, you kidding? It's very expensive to be home. I worked for 14 years. I haven't had a day off in 14 years when I was out there. So anyway, I had my daughter. She would see me on the street. She would stop by. She would say hello. I had my oldest son. My oldest son periodically would take a girl to the motel room, and I would get his key after that. You know, let me have the key, believe it or not. Dad, where are you? Where's the key? Oh, thank you. You know, take a shower. I was very, very soiled. I seemed like I wore the same color clothes all the time. I was like a dark green. So anyway, growing up, like I said, I'm very successful. I'm a banker. I was in the automobile business for 20 years. But I was also in another business as well. Besides selling dope, my best friend was in the stripper business, and I stayed in that with him for like 25 years. And I had everything. At least some people think I had everything. You guys probably think I had everything. And but you know they talk about different types of drugs. We're going to talk about this for a second because I think I want to know who you are out there. You know, I mean, before I even start, I want to know how many heroin addicts are out there.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. So not everyone on my channel is an addict, just so you're aware.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So a lot of them won't identify as an addict. Sorry, guys, we're having technical difficulties because Badger's an idiot. So we're going to go like this.
For a second here.
So yeah, we're going to go like this. Can you grab it? We're going to get Jimmy back up. Sorry about that, guys. We're still using the camera right now, not from the phone. I got all this great gear. I just got to figure out how to use it. You know what I mean? I got the camera.
Know how to use it.
No kidding. So I'm sorry for the interruption. So not everybody identifies as an addict, so you know, or an alcoholic or anything. They just identify with like what we do as far as the behaviors and everything else. The majority of people, that's what they think. Hold this and speak to it until I get it figured out. Keep telling your story.
It's a lot better. You see me really good like this, right? All right, so we have technical problems right now, but and I was just told, as you heard, that not everybody is an addict, but I am. Okay, so some of you that are going to identify with me a little bit better than some of you aren't. But I need you to understand some of the things. Okay, I have OLD. I'm old. That's right. I'm old. And I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not a kid anymore. And things have happened in my life that we're going to talk about a little bit. Hopefully, it'll help some of you because some of you might be sick out there. Some of you may have troubles trying to cope with life and not understanding how to cope with life. We're going to try to put this up again.
Let's try. Give us one more second, guys. I apologize again.
It's going to fall.
It's going to fall, huh?
It's not going to work.
So, enjoy it. Take it away.
That's not that big a deal. All right. How's this? That looks pretty good. No, we're going to try it one more time.
Forget it. Hold it tight. I apologize, guys.
I actually hope this gets aired. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what happened to me and where I'm at today. And the shoes that I'm wearing today are not the same shoes that I wore before. And unfortunately, fortunately for a lot of you people out there who are struggling in drug addiction, I am going to try to touch you, okay? And I'm a speeder. And remember, and many of the people who are out there, half of you get high and the other half don't. So I don't know which one you are. But I'm one of those guys that got high my whole entire life since the age of 18, and I have absolutely nothing to show for it. But things have changed in my life, and things have changed for the better, and I want you to know that as well. So I go to meetings a lot, and one of the things I say in front of the meetings is that if I speak at a meeting, or I also have IOP, intensive outpatient, where I speak to people who have problems in their lives, as well as drugs and alcohol. Kids, as far as I'm concerned, that don't know how to live. They can't figure out how to do it. And one of the first things that I said that I thought I was going to get in a lot of trouble was, did you want to live or you want to die? And not only that, I said to the room, I said, someone in this room is going to die. And I had like 6 people stand up out of this room. There's about 20, 25 people in there. And they left the room. They were pissed at me.
Tell them the truth.
For telling the truth.
Tell them the truth.
Because next week when I did the meeting, They were there, and they came over to me before I started and apologized to me because they knew that I was telling the truth. People who were cutters, people who have died. Have you died? Have you died and come back? How many times have you died and come back? Are your friends dying? Everybody that's listening to me right now just raise their hand. All our friends are dying. Every one of you has someone who has died from something that's really terrible going in the way of life that we're living. I live in here in Southern California. It's very expensive to live out here, and I can't tell you. Being homeless for 14 years and changing my life. I went from rags to riches, which we're going to talk about a little bit, because my life did change. And I hope that I want to give all the people out there hope to understand that it doesn't have to be, if you're stuck in whatever you're stuck in right now, it doesn't have to be that way. I didn't think I'd ever get out of it. People say, Jimmy, you're going to be selling dope when you're 70 years old? Yeah, don't worry about it. I got you covered. I'm 65 years old now, and I'm not. And I did change my life. Like I said, I've been clean now 5 years, and I don't even recognize myself. I look so handsome. I do trim my beard, though. I kind of like it. I hope you like it, too. But anyway, I want to tell you a story, a sad story. For the people out there, even like as he said, it doesn't have to be drug related. It could be just life related. Are you wearing a mask? Are you walking around wearing a mask, pretending that you're somebody that you're not? Because that was me. I'm going to raise my hand first. I'm the guy that wore the mask that made you think that I was somebody. We're going to try to set this up again. He's taking it from my hand.
Come on.
Kind of like the closest.
There we go. Hey guys, sorry.
Hopefully,
Bear with me.
Yeah, if we don't get an earthquake, this thing will work this time.
Okay.
3.2 will knock this off. So anyway, wearing a mask. I wore that mask. Maybe some of you are wearing that mask today. I made you think that I was somebody that I wasn't. I was scared inside, especially after being homeless. I pretended to be somebody that I totally was not. Afraid of getting hurt, of not surviving. I had no place to go. I'm sleeping on the street. I would see people get beaten up all the time. I was very fortunate to say that I did not get beaten up when I was out there. I had a serious problem with an issue with my son Alex, my youngest son. There'd be times where I would be with him, and he came to me and he told me that he was doing heroin. And prior to that, I had no idea that this kid was doing anything. This kid didn't do anything since the age of 22. He's 24 years old. He's telling me what's going on. And I got very violent in the car, and I'm screaming. I'm going, I said, you're going to die. You're going to die. I'm banging in the car. I can see it like it was yesterday. And I'm screaming, what are you doing to your life? And I'm banging on the steering wheel,
But meanwhile, you're smoking a pipe every day, right?
Meanwhile, I'm getting high. Okay.
I just want them to get
Yeah.
grass.
No. I'm sick. Okay. I'm a very sick man in my drug addiction. I am not clean at this time. Okay. Yes,
as I say, not as I do situation, guys. I just want to put that out there for everyone.
No, you're 100% right. I put my children on the back burner. How about that? Okay. My children in my addiction were second. That's why I'm homeless. I was unable to put my mind in a certain position to take care of my family anymore. I said, fuck you to the world. And I created myself to be homeless. Mr. Big Shot over here, the guy who's owned 2 homes, he's got the best jobs. I'm in the stripper business with a friend of mine. He owns the place, but he's my best friend. And for 25 years, I got every stripper and lipstick lesbian in my back pocket because I'm Mr. Dope Dealer. I'm Mr. Big Shot wearing this mask. Putting everything in front of my children. letting my children suffer, and I don't see it. I didn't even see it. I see it today. I'm totally ashamed and embarrassed. I don't deserve what I have today. I don't deserve it. But we're going to talk about it a little bit. My son, Alex, there was a day that my oldest son comes from behind a building, and my daughter is following, I don't know, maybe 50 yards away. They weren't together. And my son comes over to me and he hugs me. He says, "Dad, I love you. Alex died last night." At that moment, my life was gone. My life ended. I had no desire to live anymore. I want to tell you that. I'm being straight up. I realized for the first time in my life that I wasn't the father that I was supposed to be. And quite frankly, I blamed everything on me. To think that I let my children go what they had to go through was not fair. It was not fair, but it happened, okay? And I have two other beautiful children who are licensed by the state. They're doing very well. My son Alex was a poker player, a professional poker player. The kid was loaded. He had a lot of money. But he had this addiction that, like I said, I didn't even really know that he had. So anyway, he winds up dying on me. And I became out of my mind. I couldn't stop crying from the moment I woke up, from the moment I went to sleep. I became delirious. I'm asking God to take my life under a tree every single day. I don't want to deal with this anymore. But for some reason, I'm not dying. For some reason, I'm still here. So about 3 months go by, and I go to my oldest son. I called him on the phone. I said, "You need to come pick me up." I said, I'm out of my mind. I need help. And I remember that day. I'm a pool player, and I had a $3,500 pool cue. And he says to me, he says, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Look," I says, I had no drugs that day. I always have it. This is a day that, for the first time in my life, I have to say I had nothing. But I had this pool cue that I was going to sell for $1,000 at the pool hall. So I says, "Take me to the pool hall." So he takes me to the pool hall. And as soon as I put my foot out, he goes, "Shut the door." I shut the door, and he starts backing up. And I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm tired of this." He says, "We can't go to a baseball game. We can't go to a football game. Your granddaughter has to meet you in an alley." He says, "It's over. You're dying." And if anybody out there that is a drug addict, that depends on their dope every hour on the hour, you know exactly what happened to me. I'm going to fight for myself right now, because I need to sell this pool cue, because I need to buy my dope, and I needed to get high. It wasn't going to happen. I told him, I said, "Look, what about my stuff in my cart? I have 2 shopping carts." And he says, "Dad, nobody's going to take your stuff. Nobody's going to take your stuff." And I said, "Look," I said, "not now. Can we do this tomorrow?" I'm fighting the whole way. And he's backing up. He's going away. And I'm going out of my mind. I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I got to sell the cue." I said, "Guy's going to buy it right now. Please, please, let me go, please." Nothing's happening.
Desperate dope fiend.
You know, right? The last chance saloon. No matter what I'm trying to do. So he takes me to this house that he knew about. And he goes inside. And I pull down the visor. And I look at myself. I see myself. I look at my eyes, and I see a dead man. I see a man. I've never seen this face before. And I started screaming, "It's over! It's over!" And I'm screaming and screaming and screaming. About 15 minutes later, he comes out, and he waves me in like this, and I go, "So one more time, it's over!" The car was roaring. I go inside, and I meet this old man, a man older than me. Yeah. And I sit down, and he says to me, he says, "Are you willing to be willing?" And I go, "Yes." And I lied. And he says, "Are you willing to be honest?" I said, "Yes." And I lied. I didn't know this guy. I couldn't tell him anything. I want my dope. at this moment. But yet I was at a point, believe it or not, yelling and screaming in that car for that moment put me in another state of mind that I've never been in my entire life, ever. I just didn't know where I was. Like, what am I getting myself into? What am I doing? It was like all of a sudden I get clotheslined into this house. And he says, "Are you willing to be open-minded?" And I took that one got me. I said, "Yes, I'm willing to be open-minded." He said, "Are you open-minded to maybe learn something you didn't learn as a child?" And I said, "Yes." So I wound up getting myself involved in a program. And what I'm going to tell you is this. I don't care if it's NA, AA, HA, MA, MIB, AOL. It doesn't really matter.
Wrong. So you guys know I try not to bring up the programs. I should have said something to them. So it's okay. Whatever program works for you.
Whatever program works. I want you to find something. What I'm trying to say is find a program.
Well, because I tell them that even if they're not addicts, in working these steps, they can find a new way of living. I let them know that consistently.
If I could, I'm going to tell you, okay, what he's talking about pretty much is the fourth step. Pretty much, right?
Pretty
okay.
much, yeah.
Okay, so hopefully he doesn't edit this out. Okay, let's hope. Right, let's hope he stays. Okay. So what he's talking about is the fourth step. So what he's saying is the fourth step talks about in all programs, it's an inventory. Am I willing to look at myself one time in my life at the things that I did? This should be in every school. Every child in the world should go through this. And I'm going to tell you, here's something he doesn't know. I did go to principals, and I asked them if I could put this in their program. You have no idea that I did this. And you know what they told me? They told me that I couldn't do it because I wouldn't be able to get the parents to sign off the child telling the truth of what happens inside their home. They said that I would have to take it to college to when they're over the age of 18. Because every child needs to look at themselves at least one time and the things that they're doing. And I did. I had 3 books. 3 books that I looked at myself, because I'm old. Remember, I have OLD. And I saw something. I saw a dead man. And then I decided I wanted to live again. I legitimately said I wanted to live. When I came into that house, it was give the bum a couch and a bologna sandwich. That's what it was. And you know what else I wasn't able to do? I wasn't able to sleep. If I had the opportunity to sleep for 4 or 5 days, for those of you that are struggling out there in addiction, I'm going to tell you, in 4 or 5 days, it's out of your system. So that's what happened to me. I remember laying down on the bed, and I went like this. They let me sleep for 5 days. On the 5th day, I woke up. I had nothing in my system. And I don't know, I had these things called brain zaps. What happened was that I move my head and I get this like electrical charge. And it wasn't there on this 5th day. I'm going like this. I don't feel it. And I yelled up and I said, you know what, you could do this. You could do this. And I wound up putting myself in a program. And today I'm still in that program. I lived this program. I had to learn how to change my life. Because the Jimmy that was living out there, he thought he knew what he was doing, but he had no idea what was going on. Am I not talking about God?
You can talk about what you want. I mean, I try and stay away from the subject.
Okay.
As long as they have a God, what do I tell you guys? As long as you have a God,
right.
That's all I care about.
So I'm not religious. I'm not religious. I was raised a Catholic. But as time went on, I didn't understand what God was. If you want to know why I am the way I am today, I want to tell you why I am the way I am today. Something happened. Something happened. I became open-minded to something that I did not understand as a child. I didn't understand. We're going to use the word God. It's the only word I really know. It's the only word I know. And I was told by so many people, Jimmy, don't tell people what God is. It's not good. And I understand that. But there's people out there that are struggling that don't exactly know what's going on. And their life, you got this black cloud that's following you everywhere you go, and your life is in turmoil, and nothing's getting better, and you're wondering why. And why isn't God there to save you? It isn't that way, people. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. What I realized that inside me, there was a good guy. Inside me, there was a guy that knew the difference between right and wrong. Maybe Disney was right. Let your conscience be your guide. You know, maybe you call it whatever you want. I happen to call it God. I found something in me that I was looking in the wrong place. And that's what it was. I was looking for some external source to find out that it was nothing more than an internal source with me. And I have these stupid little conversations. I go, Houston, we got a problem. Look what I look like without a beard. I look pretty handsome there like that. I never saw myself like that. Houston, we got a problem. All right, Jim, what do you got? And I'd have this conversation with me. I'd have this conversation with me that actually made sense for the first time in my life. And I started to talk with myself, and I realized that it was the good guy, the good Jimmy, not the guy that likes chaos. What is it with being on the dark side that's so damn fun? I loved it. I loved the chaos. I love getting in trouble. I like looking over my shoulder. I like doing dirty things. I had every lipstick lesbian in my room. I've lived a very promiscuous life, people. To say today that I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that, because whoever that guy was, I don't want to know that guy anymore. That guy got me in an awful lot of trouble. And you know what I got as a result of it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I wound up going through this program. Sooner or later, and I said this to myself, I said, you know what? I says, I want to run this place. 6 months later, I'm in a sober living, and now I'm assistant manager. I had some man. I couldn't afford it. I had no money. I had no money. I'm not a drug dealer anymore. I have nothing.
You were getting in trouble, too.
Huh?
You were getting in trouble behind that left and right.
You know, so there was a man that my daughter met, and all of a sudden, my daughter calls me up and says, Daddy, you don't have to worry about this anymore. So worry about what? You don't have to worry about money anymore. You're going to be taken care of. I said, what are you talking about? She says, I have a friend of mine that has a recovery place, and they're going to put you in their fund, and he's going to pay for your stay there. Every month, this man would send this guy over with $800. $600 to pay my dues at the house, and $200 for my pocket. This was true. Yeah, when I was at Plan C.
So I'm going to interrupt real quick. I want you guys to understand, you've heard Plan C before. So when he's saying program, he's not talking like a state-funded program or anything along those lines. So Jimmy now runs his own, I'm going to just put it out there.
Yeah,
he runs his own program now, okay? And it's simply a design for living. That's what I try to bring to you guys. I told you about the feeling inside, feeling the internal insides with drugs, women, whatever, you know, gambling, whatever you were doing. He did. He came in and he took over the place, and that's the only time, once Hobo Joe took over the place, that it made money.
Yeah, we made money.
It made money.
Yeah, we made money.
And it wasn't designed to make money. You would get
Yeah.
thrown out of the house for not having your step work done before you would get thrown out
I
of the
almost
house.
got thrown
for
out
having-
2 times.
For not having your step work done.
Yeah, not having done. I had 3 books.
Rent's paid, who cares?
Yeah, they didn't care. We were putting half measures.
You
You had a
put
week.
half measures.
You had a week to straighten it out, or else you got thrown out.
I just don't want them thinking that you went to a state-funded program
No, no,
or
no,
something
no,
like
no,
that.
no.
You could, recovery starts in homes.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah,
You know,
I never knew places. Believe it or not, I didn't know places like this existed.
Right.
I did. I'm a drug dealer. I'm a bum. At least I became a bum for the last 14 years. I never had a problem. I've always had my own home, so I'm not familiar with this type of living at all. So anyway, this guy, he's paying for me every single month. And then all of a sudden I became assistant manager, and then I became manager. Okay?
No, I got 17% better.
Okay, we got 17%. We're going to finish this. Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
So when I became manager, I called him up. I said, look, I appreciate everything you've done, and I'm able to take care of myself from here on out because they gave me a free bed. So I wind up becoming the manager of the house, and this was back in, I'm going to say, 2015. I actually became manager of the house. And you're right, the house made money. All of a sudden, I had 25, 30 people in this place. I had people sleeping on the couch. I had people sleeping on the floor. It was pretty crazy.
I want to bring up, do you guys see the integrity? He could have been pocketing the money that this guy was bringing to the pad, you know what I mean? But his integrity, he now learned a few things. And this guy, there was times when you just wanted to tell him shut up, because he would. He'd talk to himself, he'd do all this crazy ass shit. And I mean, the man's amazing today. Like, if you really know him, he's amazing, you know. I'm going to jump out of this, but I just wanted that known. Like, you could have been pocketing money, but you said, hey, thank you for what you've gotten me. I can now take care of myself.
Yeah.
Integrity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, bam.
I
that's
changed.
what we learn here.
Like, something happened to me. Something really happened to me. I wanted to be honest. I didn't want to be dishonest anymore. I had this cloud over me that didn't want to, it didn't want to go away. I didn't have ID. I didn't have ID. I didn't have a driver's license. I didn't have a social security card. I didn't have a birth certificate. I didn't have a bank account. I didn't have insurance. I didn't have I had nothing. Nothing. And in 30 days, I got 10 things done for myself. I became a human being again. And I liked it. I liked it. I actually said, I don't want to die. I want to live again. I want to live again. This was the problem with me. I couldn't figure out how to fix myself. I was stuck out there, literally stuck for 14 years out there, building cardboard condominiums. A guy got me a car. I lived in a car behind a building for 5 years. A car that didn't run, no battery. A little Honda Accord. I slid it. I had a Furby I used to stick on the dashboard. A Furby. They kept me company as I stuck my finger in it to feed it. It's true. It's true. It's true.
So when you close out, you can let them know the name of your place and the phone number if you want. And, you know, I mean, that's up to you. So,
listen to me. I'm going to come back on here another time because I need more time. But today we're going to cut myself off short.
Well,
so that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to come back on here another time. We're going to close out. I do want you to know that since then, I got my own place. I got 2 houses. I had 4 houses. I was given 4 homes by a man that I met. First he gave me 2. And then he said, I own more homes. Would you like to have 2 more? And I says, okay. So I did. I went to a guy. I was a guy that had nothing, that had a $13,000 a month nut. All of a sudden I got a $13,000 a month nut. It was too much, actually, you know. So I wound up closing the other 2. Now I just have the 2 here. And we're in Granada Hills. I'm still here in Southern California. And things are going good. He wants me to pitch my place. It's Jimmy's house. I'm in
that.
Yeah, I'm not actually, am I on the internet?
And don't you do pages every morning?
I'm on Craigslist every day.
Craigslist.
You know, it says call Jimmy. That's me. I'm the guy. You know, you could find me if you wanted to leave an email, I suppose. It's Looks Cool. LOOKXKOOL. Looks Cool. Get it? At gmail.com. Say hello. You know, and if you got problems, you know, tell me your problems. Maybe I could help you with them. You know, I'm not really good. I'm not the best person to get advice from, but any advice that I give you is going to come from the good part of me. I'm going to do the best I can, and we'll see where it gets you. Anyway, we could sign off with this right now.
He's one of the guys too. He is good at advice, but any advice that he's going to give you is from experience that he's lived and learned.
Yes.
If he doesn't know,
I'm going to tell you
what
I don't
advice
know.
to give you,
Yeah.
then he knows somebody that does.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's got
can
tons
point you in the
of
right
people
direction.
that in these rooms that officially look up to Jimmy. You know what I mean? Jimmy's also known as the Birdman of fucking whatever West Valley this is.
I train bluebirds.
I'm not kidding. I swear to God.
Mr. Bluebird on my shoulder is a true thing. You can go to. Later on, we'll post something in there. I got this bluebird. This bluebird loves me. So you're right. I am the bird man.
It's the funniest thing. He'll
Claus.
hold a peanut in his mouth and he'll come straight, take it out of his mouth.
Jumps on my leg.
Interesting shit.
I talk to this bird. I don't get it. I don't get it either. But you know what? To me, that's something I never recognized in my life before. I didn't pay attention to the beauty in the world. You know, I didn't pay attention to anything like that. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting outside. I got 10 people outside, and they see this place and go, "What just happened?" The most beautiful thing you could ever imagine. And one last thing. Remember, I told you I wasn't religious. I go to church every Sunday. This old man goes to church. I sit in the front row. I go in there before and I put these things down the church. I put 7. You cannot sit in my chair. Don't you dare sit in my chair. I go to every single morning. Every single morning on Sunday morning, 8:30 in the morning. I'm there at church. People say to me, "Jimmy, you don't believe in God. Why do you go to church?" I said, "I never said I didn't believe in God, but I understand it today, and that's what needs to be done. You got to find your inner peace inside. It's been missing, people, and it's okay. And maybe if I get a chance, I'll help you with it later. Maybe I'll let you back in again. Maybe somebody will watch this.
Absolutely. Well, the entire world's gonna watch it.
The whole world's gonna see me.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I'm so grateful for the platform, and I'm so grateful for the people that, people like you were able to reach out and
Yeah.
they don't identify nothing. Who's that old man? Because that's how I feel when they think about me sometimes. They thought it was going to be a prison channel. I try to have a recovery based. As you know, I've spent plenty of time somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I try not to bring that to the table, and I try not to live that way out here, do I?
Yeah, no.
You don't ever hear me hire
Ernie and I
somebody?
we worked together at the house. We didn't tell them that.
No, he was manager. I was
Yeah.
assistant manager.
Yeah, he was with me. We were together.
We've been together for a while
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
For years, a couple of years now, several years now actually.
Yeah.
And I don't like you guys talking about prison channel. It's not really a prison channel. It just happens to be part of my story. That's why I put it out there. And it happens to be the majority of everybody that comes to our house's story too.
You know what? Yes, I have. A lot of us who have been in prison probably did the wrong thing. Maybe it was drug related. Maybe the first thing you did when you got out is you got loaded again. Maybe you need to be on this channel. There's nothing wrong with people. Prison people are fine. The help is needed everywhere. We're all stuck. We all got a story. We all have a problem figuring it out. And that's why we're going to be here. We're going to be here to try to help you with that. Because my life was unmanageable. I was a wreck. I'm not a wreck anymore. You know what I am today? Uncomplicated. I'm uncomplicated. Imagine that. Me. Without you, I'm going to get loaded.
Right.
Without him, I'm going to get loaded. I need him in my life. I need you in my life. Or else I'm going to get loaded. That's why I opened up the house. I did this for myself and my son. I had to turn the death of my son into something positive. Because without this, I'm going to get loaded, people. I needed a purpose. And I found it. And now I have 5 years. 5 years next week. Imagine that. 5 years.
It's awesome.
Anyway, I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Ernie, you have anything to say goodbye?
You guys, please keep in mind we all got a past.
Yeah.
Homelessness. We know people, like some people they don't want to come on the channel because they have been human trafficked. And I was hoping to get some of them on here, but the embarrassment, we all have a past. There's no sense in being embarrassed behind it. It's what you do with your future. You know what I mean? We all got to, I keep trying to explain to a couple of people that have been human trafficked that they could help somebody else. And right now, they're just not into helping someone else right now. The few that I know. But most convicts don't want to return to prison, so they're willing to help. Homeless people, man, you didn't like sleep on that concrete every night, did you?
No.
You know what I mean? Today he sleeps in a huge, nice bed.
Unbelievable.
You know what I mean? So keep in mind, we all have a past. Don't judge them.
Life changes. It can change, but you got to make the effort.
Sure.
You got to make the effort. It's determination. It's dedication. You can't give up. That's it. You can't give up. It's over. I ain't allowed to say that, but it's over. But it really is over.
And all you people saying I'm e-bagging out there, look, this costs money, the tripods cost money, so that's what generally we have a 7th tradition, you know what I mean? I'm not doing anything. I thank all of you that are willing to donate and help me get the equipment that I need. I just need to get the knowledge to use it.
He just has to learn how to use it.
I spent the money on what you guys have sent it to me for. for myself, I got everything that I need.
Right, he doesn't need
You know what I mean? I'm helping another,
know him.
helping another alcoholic addict is our mission in life today. So I thank you guys. Jimmy's going to come on the show again because I think there's a little pressure too. You know, like generally he'll get going and it's really good. You know what I mean? But we're at his house. I don't know if you're comfortable. Are you comfortable? Okay, good. Because it was a great share.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but sometimes
I need a lot of time.
He needs a lot.
I need a lot of time.
I need to break it up in segments.
Yeah, we gotta come up with like something, and I just stick with it because I can get.
Because when he goes into the death of his son, man, it just chokes me up because my son's out there riding a motorcycle and shooting heroin every day. You know what I mean? And I'm waiting for that phone call too, and I know I'll just die inside too. Man. You know, and Jimmy has a beautiful daughter, and he's got a great son. I know them both. You know what I mean? His daughter. Anyway, she's beautiful. She's also some kind of major nurse, something, whatever. She does some serious plastic surgery stuff. I'm not going to go into it. You know what I mean? That's her job. And
Actually, she got promoted from that. You don't even know that.
Whatever. She makes a ton of money. She does well for herself.
She's now she's a manager of the hospital now.
My son used to date her. I'll just say that. Jimmy hated it. So anyway, guys, you know, I hope you enjoyed.
But we became really
We've
good
always
friends.
loved each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
It's okay.
like I
soon.
say, those people aren't going to be there tomorrow. They're not guaranteed that. You guys, please be kind to another individual. Be kind to, especially your family, man. You know what I mean? Let them know on a daily basis, at least a regular basis, that you love them, that you're proud of them, because you never know when you won't get to see them again.
But you wind up turning old like me, and you're on the back nine. You're wondering how much time you know, I said, how much time do I have? If I live 10 more years, I only have 120 months. That sucks. 120 months.
I always say I'm on the back nine to these guys too, and they're like, "Oh no, you're just beginning." Yeah,
You're just a kid.
Don't let this Steven Seagal dive job fool you, guys. I'm just as gray as he is. So,
Okay.
you know, hey, I appreciate all you guys. You know what I mean? I hope we were able to bring a smile to your face. You know what I mean? And maybe a tear to your eye. Whatever it may be, I hope you got something out of sitting down with us today. I appreciate you tuning in. So, with that, some people want it to happen. Some people need it to happen. The heavy hitters make it happen. Nothing but love and respect shot your way.